FF12!
I lost chat.
Chat's gone! Hang on, I'll get it back. Go ahead and pull that back up on this. I like how the mic's picking up the water running, so that's why it keeps activating. Hey guys! So I heard you guys like this game called FF12.
Too bad we won't be playing it.
Nope. We are going to show off one thing, though. By the way, here's my 100% save game, the 108 right there. Anyone who was wondering. This 104, though, is a little bit more interesting.
Why?
Well, because I just left a piece of popcorn. It's gone forever. Oh, don't do this to me again. Oh, by the way. Someone actually rendered that. Okay, are we live right now? It's been doing this all day. All week, rather.
What?
Randomly going off. Okay, we appear to be live. Good. Let's go! This probably looks very familiar to me because it'll save I just loaded. I bet some of you already know what I'm doing. I'm not actually going to beat him, though. I'm not actually set up for it, and I don't feel like resetting up everything for it. But I swore I would go ahead and show it off if I could. And I can, because I actually have a save in the middle of the fight. Yes, right. You can save in the middle of fighting this guy.
So you've already started saving him? Fighting him?
Mm-hmm.
Beating him?
Mm-hmm.
Smushing him?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the bridge?
Ah.
That's a wall? Are you drunk?
Ah! Damn it.
Pat the top of your head and rub your belly counterclockwise while saying the alphabet backwards.
I can't do the alphabet backwards sober, dear.
I can't either.
Z. There's the alphabet backwards.
Z. Y. X. W. V.
Not on this save, King, but on my actual
TSR?
100% save. Of course I do.
I don't remember what comes before R. I made it all the way to R, though!
Q.
Q. That doesn't help me. I don't remember what...
I don't remember what's before
What
Q
comes
either.
before Q?
Yeah, me doing the alphabet backwards is just me doing the alphabet forward slowly.
A bunch.
No, I'm not actually drunk. She's just making fun. See, this isn't actually my Super Doom maxed out save. This is just when I went to fight Yee's map. This is actually before I killed Omega 12.
She runs really weird.
Yeah, she does. No, 30
It's fine
damage.
as long as you're not looking at her from the side. Yeah, I definitely think it's there for fan service, especially the back.
I guess. I kind of wish Ash was wearing... That's her. Was wearing... No, her. Was wearing something a little bit less revealing in the shorts department, but at least she has a better outfit in general. And of course I like her better as a character. Excuse me. Your sense of time is distorted, Absol. And also, yes. Yeah, anything would be better than Yuna's run in 10-2. Except for you know who's run and you know what. Alright. Before we start this, we gotta show off... We gotta talk for just a little bit. This won't take me long.
What in the heck did she do to her shoes?
Actually, believe it or not, Viera's feet are built like that. So that's why they all wear heels. Literally spiked heels. They're also very damaging in combat. She's a great monk. Anyways, so... When I told you guys I would tell you this story for a long time. For like 3 games, actually. Here's the story, right?
I'm going to bed.
Okay. The story is I gave my sister a hug because I love her so much.
This is really uncomfortable. Oh.
So
now I can go back to...
So there I was, fighting Yzmat. And I was actually, this was back when I lived with Eric and Ryan and a few other people. And I was literally laying down on the couch, fighting Yzmat, and I was pretty tired. And I'll never forget this, because I started fighting Yzmat, and I was just sitting there, doing the thing, fighting him. The next thing I was aware of was my roommate and friend Eric coming in, waking me up, because I fell asleep during the Yzmat fight. Do keep in mind, I am not kidding. I'm really not. And when he woke me up, they were still doing their auto-battle sequence. Now, in fairness, he hadn't reached his, I forget which HP point. He has 4 stages to him. And, he hadn't reached any of the stages where you have to pay attention. Because later on, Yzmat does actually require you to pay attention. But for the first 25 million health that you have to push through... Hang on. There we go. For the first 25 million health they were going through, it was nothing. So I literally fell asleep fighting this guy. And in fact, the save you're looking at right now is when I woke up, went off to save, because I knew in advance you actually could save in the middle of this fight, and then was going to come back and beat him. Now you'll notice my characters aren't really fully optimized here, so I'm probably going to die like crazy in a moment. But we'll go ahead and show him off, because I'm pretty sure this is actually past the halfway point for Yzmat now. Now, in case you're wondering why I fell asleep on this guy, allow me to explain. You see those little dots under his health meter there? Each one of those represents 1 million health, and there are actually 50 of them. So let's go ahead and get up here. And we'll just put the thing down. I'm about to die though, because I know what happens here if I don't set myself up properly and get ready for his. You have to kind of change your setup for his different phases, otherwise he just kind of does what he's doing here. I also need to turn off my buff gambits, otherwise he does stuff like that. Now I know it's kind of hard to see him there. I'm kind of hoping he'll do his ultimate attack, which will show off his full form, body, etc., whatever you want to call it. There's a buff that increases your current health called Bubble, which I am maintaining. And Fran finally dies. And Fran's back up. And Ash dies. Come on, at least live until you do the thing, no? Yes, by the way, this was my usual in-game party here. Whoops. Was Ash, Fran, and Penelo. If you're wondering why, it's actually a really simple reason. I like their combat animations the most. Seriously, that's the reason. Notice they're kind of stuck in a loop of buffing. This is why you can't set them up like this for the later stages of his fight. Because I literally will just sit here buffing and healing and rezzing and buffing and healing and rezzing. Endlessly. Oh, here we go. So this is where you can actually see the whole form of Yzmat there. He looks actually kind of cool if you see him properly. No, we're dead. Yeah, we died here, man. Yeah. Actually, we didn't, because you can then pull in other guys. See? Well, we're not doing that. We're just gonna... well, okay. We'll bring in Vaughn. Just Vaughn. Vaughn will die! No, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the title. I usually just stick with 3 Cashel. Now, I'll be right back. I gotta wash my hands after the popcorn, but then I'll share another story with you. So, time to get serious, y'all. Let's go ahead and talk here. I hope you will forgive me. By the way, that doesn't count for the encounter counter. I hope you will forgive me, because I am going to be honest here. I mentioned earlier that FF6 was one of three square works that had actually helped me to keep going, right? The other one was actually Kingdom Hearts 2. A lot of people guessed this back when I mentioned this. The reason Kingdom Hearts 2 was one of the things that helped me keep going is actually kind of funny, because what helped me keep going with Kingdom Hearts 2 was the fact that it wasn't actually out yet. And that came out in 2006. For those of you who know me, you know that 2005 was what I like to call the year of hell, or the year I died, depending on how you want to think of that. It was a worse year than my last year was, for anybody who knows that. It was pretty damn bad. So the year of 2006, the only thing that literally the only thing kept me going was the fact that Kingdom Hearts 2 was going to come out, and I wanted to play it. You know, that was great. It came out. It was awesome. Things went well. I enjoyed the game. I got a job literally the day after the game came out. It was like a dream job, basically, out of nowhere. I got it while playing WoW, actually, believe it or not. And so there I was, enjoying, you know, life just a little bit more. And I was with my friend, Eric. And we decided that we were going to do something we hadn't done in a long time. You see, 2006 was when FF12 came out. Here, at least. But FF10 had come out in 2001. Now, if you don't really get the point of that, previous to this point in time, that was a pretty big gap, all things considered. A very huge gap, actually, as far as the last time an FF had come out. And before you say anything, yes, I know 10.2 had come out, yes, I know 11 had come out, but neither of those count, and you know it. Not really. Not for this. So we actually went to a midnight opening for this thing, and we're really, really enjoying, you know, the hype, basically. It's one of those things it was one of those things that I really liked being hyped up for. I was really like, yeah, this is going to be great, this is going to be wonderful, I'm really looking forward to it. We were there was a bunch of fans, we talked to them, we went into the GameStop, there's a little party, we put it in, pulled it home, and the whole reason I wanted you guys to go ahead and watch that intro is because the very first thing we did was when we fired up the TV, we just sat there and watched as it went through the intro, and then after it was done, both of us looked to each other and just said, hell yeah! And it was awesome, and I like that. By the way, King Falls Down, that's a deliberate setting. It's been on ever since Final Fantasy X. I'm amazed you haven't noticed until now. I have it on purpose to make it so I can stay quiet while the cutscenes are playing. Kind of like that I was just doing just there. And so yeah, there I was sitting, watching this cutscene, and it was, okay, this is pretty cool, all things considered, I like this. And then the next sequence started up, and then it did the actual FF theme, culminating the title, and we were just like, hell yes! It was so awesome! It was so rare, especially in that time in my life, to really be truly pumped for something, to truly be excited for something, and then for the game to actually fulfill on that. That was so wonderful, the fact that I love this game so much, you know? Maybe you don't know. I just wanted to share that. And by the way, King Falls Down, shame on you for not already noticing something. Okay, on, widescreen, I think, 'cause that's what I want. Maybe that's not what I want. You know, genuinely, I'm not actually sure what I want with this. So I'll just leave it as that. Oh no, I love the crap out of this game. You have no idea how much I have enjoyed playing this game. By the way, we're playing with one cheat to start. I reserve the right to do other cheats to show off stuff. I have access to a level cheat, a license plate cheat, and a item drop cheat. The only one that's on right now is the item drop cheat. You'll see, Samurai. So many questions already. Give me a break, guys. Hold on to them for a second. Wait for the cutscenes to finish playing. Lady, you should go grab some pizza, then come back.
Of these holy relics, I hereby pronounce you man and wife from this time forth. May the blessings of the gods light your path for all eternity. Farewell.
Second on-screen kiss.
If, following this, Arcadia should launch an attack by both land and air, our kingdom will stand little...
Nabudis has fallen.
Impossible!
My father? I know not. I am sorry.
If Nabudis has indeed fallen, it is only a matter of time before they reach the borders of Dalmasca. There is nothing to halt their advance.
Secure Nalbina with all haste.
I will go.
And I will go at his side.
Galtea, stand watch over your life.
Might be considered worthy.
Sorry. To war! Wait, wrong thing. Shall build a grand army of the Republic. Wait, wrong thing again. By the way, really good directing in this game, just like in 10.
The fortress is lost! We must withdraw!
No! The paling still stands!
I'll explain what a paling is in a bit.
The paling's fallen!
Then it's over!
For my father! For my father!
Lord Rassler!
Oh, that's a... Oh, I know, Absol. That guy had really good aim, or got really lucky. One of the two.
Blessings of the Great Father, and guide your bodies return to the earth. Great Father, guide your spirits return to the Mother of all. There you shall find peace. Pharaoh.
You know, I have so much stuff to talk about this game, I literally don't know where to talk. I don't even know where to start.
The death of Lord Rasla Heos Nabradia was but one of many tragedies to befall the kingdom of Dalmasca. The air of hope that had surrounded Her Royal Highness Princess Asha's wedding was now quite lost. Dalmasca had been set adrift at the mercy of history's restless tides.
Oh, right. I gotta hit go.
At this time, two great empires struggled for dominion over Ivalice. Arcadia in the east, Rosaria the west. The invasion of the kingdom of Nabradia was Arcadia's first step in its westward march. With Lord Rasla's beloved homeland consumed by the hellfires of war, it seemed clear that Arcadia would soon mete out a like fate to Dalmasca. The fall of the fortress at Nalbina told the destruction of the greater part of Dalmasca's forces. A counterattack was mounted by the order of the Knights of Dalmasca, ever brave and faithful. But against the martial might of the Arcadian armies, they stood little chance of victory. Indeed, their defeat was to be absolute. Soon thereafter, Arcadia came forward, offering terms of peace, or, as one might rather put it, terms of Dalmasca's surrender. Lord Ramenas, King of Dalmasca, and my dear friend, had no choice but to accept these terms. It was, thus, only with reluctance that he set out for Nalbina Fortress, now under Arcadian occupation, to affix his seal to the Emperor's Treaty of Peace. The king had scarce departed his royal city of Rabanasta when the remnants of the Order made their return, and not a moment too soon, for a terrible revelation awaited them. The treaty would be signed with steel and writ in royal blood.
First of all, that was chapter 12. There's about 50,000 references to the number 12 in this game, just like FF9 did. It was something they did to kind of put a bit of their seal on it, to get across the emphasis of how much they felt that they were contributing to the series. Now, God, like I said, I'm not even sure where to begin, so let's go ahead and just start with this. Concerning hobbits... sorry. FF12 is an unfinished game. That absolutely has to be said first, because it is absolutely critical for understanding this game. The first 75% of this game is so phenomenal, it's one of my favorite games of all time. But the last 25% of the game is completely and utterly unfinished, and is only salvaged by a few excellent cutscenes amidst otherwise a terrible section of gameplay and virtually no story progression. FF12 is an unfinished game. But like KOTOR 2, I still find myself enjoying it regardless of that, because that 75% is still phenomenal. I would give so much to see a proper completion of this game. I really would. Let's also get one other thing out there. I have actually done a lot of research on my own independently, and while there are certain facts we know about the incompletion of this game, we don't know the specific reasons why, and anything else is just rumor mongering or speculating. We do know that there was a bit of time budget that was going on, and we do know that certain critical people had to quit the development, basically due to health reasons. But both of those are facts that are not necessarily tied to the fact that the game was not completely finished. So we don't, to this day, we still don't have an absolute 100%, I could put my seal on this and say this is reason why this game is unfinished. The other thing I want to say is Vaughn. Vaughn was originally going to be this rugged, brooding hero type. Now, a lot of people say that Bosch was originally going to be their hero, but my research does not actually confirm that. It's more like that the original character was going to be kind of part Vaughn and part Bosch, and they ended up splitting him into two because, and this is almost a direct quote from the director of Square Enix, they wanted to hit more of their core demographics, so they made him more effeminate. I'll let you decide what you'd like to think about that. It's totally up to you. I'm not really that concerned, but long and the short of it is they basically kind of split the character up, and Vaughn became the one with the backstory, the perspective, and and became, again, younger and more effeminate, whereas Bosch basically remained the war-torn hero that was originally going to be Vaughn. Next thing I want to really talk about, before I even get started here, is the other thing that was incredibly controversial about this game is its approach to combat and mechanics, both of which were basically decided to be done in a style similar to MMOs, because they wanted this, and I quote here, a single-player online game. That's what they wanted. And I feel like they succeeded quite well, all things considered. A lot of loot was randomized, and I'm not just talking about the enemies. Loot, chest loot, that kind of a thing was randomized. Certain elements and items were randomized. Certain things were designed for multiple playthroughs, excuse me. And of course, there's the whole Gambit system. Now, the Gambit system, I don't know if you guys actually know this, but the Gambit system is literally just a direct copy-paste, for all intents and purposes, of the enemy AI code that existed in Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy VI, believe it or not. So all they did was switched out some of the if, then, but statements, gave it a bit of a UI so we could actually see it, and we're literally setting up the same kind of AI that they used back in FF5 and FF6 for our Gambits. I just felt like sharing that because that's actually really cool. So that being said, I think that's all the things I wanted to cover right off of the bat, but I also want to mention a couple other things. First of all, as with most FFs, the story actually began before the intro there, even before that marriage happened. And this is kind of important because that marriage was actually caused by this event. There was a series of circumstances which led to a sort of a pseudo-civil war within the Nalbina Kingdom, or not Nalbina, Nabradia Kingdom, and they had it wasn't fully civil war, but what happened was they had kind of some internal strife going on, which was actually caused by Vayne and his efforts to go ahead and have an excuse to go ahead and invade, because that's how war works. You can actually just conquer whoever you want to. You have to actually have a reason to, also known as carte blanche, or something else that I can't remember the term of right now off the top of my head. Anyway, so he wanted an excuse, so they went ahead and set it up so that there was a lot of internal strife. One of the factions within Nabradia approached Rosaria and asked them for military aid and control over certain sectors of the Nabradia Kingdom, which Vayne then used as an excuse for military invasion, whose only purpose was to get in there and use the Midlight Shard, or whichever one it was. I think it was the Midlight Shard. That was what he did. That all that maneuvering, all the politicking, all of the efforts, all the war was done solely to get a hold of that stone. I just want to emphasize that because that's one of the things about this game. But all of that, pretty much all of that happened, actually literally all of that happened before the event of the first cutscene we just saw. As a result of that invasion, it's actually like, that happened like after the first 10 seconds of the cutscene, because they got married first, because one of the things they were doing to politically try to solidify their seal was to go ahead and have an arranged marriage with Dalmasca in order to try and get the two kingdoms closer together so they could actually form some kind of unified front politically, but not militarily, against the Arcadian and Rosarian expansion. However, that went nowhere, of course, because of the aforementioned manipulations that Vayne did, and of course the destruction of Nabudis itself, which was caused by the Midlight Shard. Any questions? There's an insane amount of politics in this game, by the way, and I know all of it, so...
You there? Can you hear me?
And here's the guy who should have been the main character, instead of Vaughn.
It's as I feared. They're slowing us down.
Do not say that.
Not all of us are here for love of battle. He fights to defend his homeland. Your name?
Rex, sir. My name's Rex.
Good. Rex. You bore a few cuts, but you are still whole. Well, can you stand?
Actually, one other thing I want to talk about, sorry, really quick here, is the fact that I mentioned before that every single generation of games has pushed the limits of its hardware to the breaking point. Final Fantasy III did things with the NES no one thought was possible. Final Fantasy VI completely destroyed the SNES. In some cases, Final Fantasy IX actually did literally destroy PlayStation 1. Final Fantasy XII is no exception to this, because FF12 actually managed to push the boundaries of the PS2 far past what anyone thought was possible. In fact, FF12 was actually dumbed down in order to make it playable on the PS2. Under certain circumstances, you can find a decent emulation copy of it that is in its original state, which is basically, for all intents and purposes, kind of a high-def version of FF12. It looks really good. I highly recommend it if you can find it.
Think you can fight?
I'm fine, sir.
How old are you, Rex?
17, sir.
Young. Family?
My brother is all I have left, sir. He's 2 years younger than I, living in Rabanastre.
So young. You're barely old enough to be a man. You shouldn't be forced to wield a sword.
No, sir. I want to fight. For my homeland. And for my parents.
It's time, Bosch. Save the discussion for later. We must reach the king before they act, or all our efforts will be in vain.
I'm aware of the situation.
We found them! Over there!
Bossler, go ahead. I will handle this rabble.
Godspeed.
Steady, Rex. Keep your wits about you and you'll make it. We move!
Now, I'll go out on a limb here and say something that I kind of have said before. I don't really care for the music on its own right, except for, I think, 3 songs in this one. And you probably know my favorite song in this one is. It's really obvious. That being said, the music, again, does an excellent job of being atmospheric, and it really brings forth the feel of the areas. Also, this was one of the first soundtracks done by Square Enix that was actually done by a orchestra, so that's kind of cool, too. Oh, wait, hang on. Let me turn the thing back on. There, guest bot is back on. Okay, what the hell was I about to say? Yeah, by the way, we're for the encounter counters, for anybody who's curious, we're actually counting how many enemies we kill. That includes bosses. So that's how the encounter counter is going to work for this game. So there's going to be a few trillion of them, just so you know. I do not intend to grind. I would rather cheat than grind, and I've got access to cheats, so that's not going to be a thing, but, you know, there is that. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about, FF12 was actually translated by a translation group that also did a few other works you may or may not recognize, including the PSP version of Final Fantasy Tactics. They do really good work with Old English. Now, let's go and describe this in brief here. There is a difference between Old English and what I like to call Old Day English. In other words, ye hath von further han further, and I just kind of lose it because I can't even do that. That's Old A English. That's fake Old English. It's stupid, it's dumb, it's overdone. I like Old English. In fact, I like Old English a lot, all things considered. It's something I have a lot easier time reading than Modern English, to be completely honest with you. And so the fact that they speak with such a dialect and with such a tone was really indicative of the kind of level of formality they were going with this game. On top of that, I also feel like pointing out that they had a great deal of interesting... Well, let's just say that they got a lot of voice actors who are not very well known, other than Nolan North, of course. But seriously, most of these individuals they got were people who were from theaters or plays or otherwise actors who did the theatrical circuit but never actually did movies or games before. They got these people because they felt that they would do a good job of getting across that tone, that old English, not old English tone I just mentioned. And I think they did a brilliant job. In fact, FF12 is probably one of the first games Square Enix has put out that I can't complain about any of the voice acting in it because everyone does a phenomenal job. So, yeah. By the way, Seeking Power is the favorite song I was going to mention. Yeah, okay, we're good. Tutorial. This is another game I tend to steer with the camera, by the way. Tutorial. Adam West. Yeah, by the way, Nolan North plays Vossler. Speaking of which, here's something not a lot of people are aware of. FF12 also references a lot of the previous FFs. Most of those are pretty obvious. There's one I really like. Rossler is actually a reference to Prince Ralse from the play, or the opera, excuse me, in Final Fantasy VI. And he's kind of a reference in one of those weird ways, because if you actually think about the situation between the two, it's kind of an interesting twist on the situation. Hey Jonas, welcome back. Oh wow, even you like the voice acting in this game? It's astonishing. I didn't say all the voice actors weren't established, just about 90% of them. Jeez, guys, don't pick apart my words that badly. So, I know a bunch of people were asking questions earlier. If you have any questions, go ahead. This is basically tutorial until we get to the big cutscene, which I probably won't explain just yet. Oh my gosh. By the way, the delay on an attack is actually determined by your weapon, not anything else. It's one of the reasons why certain weapons are kind of crap, actually, is because they have like 8-second delay just to name a certain weapon that I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Captain?
Ink. I was wondering if anybody was going to notice Gilgamesh on my layout here. So, I'd just like to also go on record as saying, whoops, well I guess I could do that like literally right now. Crank that up, leave that on, leave that on that, leave it, actually I kind of want to leave that on active, there we go. I'd like to say that the Star Wars reference, or I shouldn't say references, the Star Wars feel, inspiration was actually a good thing in the case of this game. You know, I feel like commenting on this here. I really gotta stress this because I really do like the fact that the Star Wars thing works very well in FF12. Not only because it emphasizes the theme of Star Wars without any of the specific literal functional surface of Star Wars, but it gets across one of the things I love so much about Star Wars, or at least I should say loved, past tense at this point in time, and that's the feeling of an epic grand adventure with lots of ships and war and character development and politics and everyone getting involved, and it's all the things I actually like about Star Wars, and they're all basically present here, so I don't really think it's a bad thing, and I also think it's probably my favorite way to actually emphasize the usage of airships in any fantasy ever. Seriously, FF12 literally has my best use, my absolute favorite usage of airships in any game ever. So that's that. There's that one too. Of course it does, Tall. Why wouldn't it? Real life politics, anyways. Yeah, by the way, we're up to 8 already.
Vossler! Where are you?
What if Captain Azelus has fallen?
Don't talk such nonsense. Vossler's laughed in the face of death far too many times for him to stop now. Men like him don't die in places like this. We must make haste to reach the king. We will take him to safety.
Is His Majesty unharmed?
He'll agree to an unconditional surrender. They wouldn't dare touch him until the wax on his seal is dry.
But if we arrive after he signed the treaty...
Wait. Quickly, Rex.
Yeah, what? So, Joe Neutrino asks, how do I find the use of airships in this game very good? I don't know how to explain it, except for two big things. Number one, the airships are incredibly common. Everyone knows airships. Everyone knows them. Everyone uses them. They're used for the military. They're used for the economy. They're used for public transport. They're used for your just getting around. You know, the works. So I like that. And the second thing I like about the usage of airships is the fact that they are basically full-on ships. You know, for in essence the same way that a spaceship would be back in you know Star Wars. Yeah, by the way, like I said, we're already up to 8 encounters or kills. I guess I could have called that the kill counter for this game, but whatever. It's too late to change it now. Lucas, that's actually the combo system. We'll assume we'll kill all 3 of these. The combo system is kind of a hidden stat. It basically determines how many times you get a swing, and it's dependent based not only on your character, your licenses, and your stats, but also the weapon you're using. So, that's the combo system. Also, I like the fleeing system. You just hold it on R2, everyone just kind of ignores everything, you just run through stuff. Also, someone asked over there, why is it that Rex was used for this section? 2 big reasons. One is to give a direct personal connection to the tragedy of war, not only to the player, but to the viewpoint character, Vaughn. And second was because Rex is actually kind of absolutely critical to Vane's plot here, in character, which is kind of funny when you think about it. This is what a save crystal is. No, okay, it'll be great. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how high we get. I did, Final Cloud. I actually leveled Rex a fair amount in the Imperials down there.
Don't let them escape!
Sir, we have little time. You must go to the king. I'll handle these.
Fight well.
Before you get gambits, combat is actually a little bit slow in this game. I'll admit that freely and easily. Oh yeah, and by the way, I actually agree. I really wish we had a proper overworld again. I get why they didn't, because it would have had to been limited. I mean, they couldn't actually let us fly everywhere, because not only would that break the way the story flows, but it would also kind of ruin the ability to go anywhere, because we don't know where the whole world is. We're not even on a single continent. We have a piece of one continent, a piece of a second continent, and a piece of a third continent. We just happen to be at the confluence of the three. That's where the game occurs. So they couldn't actually give us proper free roaming, because, well, they didn't want us to go beyond the boundaries of that. And I understand that. It's just a bit of a pity, because the airships in this game are so friggin' awesome. And now, I believe this is a dun-dun-dun moment. Yeah, the PS2 already had trouble dealing with a lot of problems in this game. That's one of the reasons why we only ever really see Vaughn running around in the towns and stuff. That's one of the reasons that they didn't do more with some of the models. There's a bunch of things. Question for all you aspiring politicians out there. Why go to a king who is actually willing to surrender totally and unconditionally and then kill him? Why?
Captain, why? Our king, what have you done?
The king intended all along to sell Damaska to the Empire. His Majesty was a traitor.
Captain,
Seize the insurgent. Hello.
Well, so much for peaceful negotiations.
We'll never surrender to you. We are not cattle to be sold by a traitor king.
But the war is over, my dear captain. You have lost. Dalmasca is the property of the Empire now. And think, we intended to let you keep some of your sovereignty, out of respect. But now you've gone and ruined that. Haven't you, Captain?
We will never bow to you.
And the people of Dalmasca will hate you for it. Take the captain away.
Off you go.
The answer is at once simple and incredibly complicated. The entire point of doing it was to give them a bit of political excuse to go ahead and continue the invasion, which was going under normal conditions otherwise, in order to completely maintain absolute control over Damascus. Now, the funny thing about that is, you might ask, well, why bother? Why not just keep going to war? And if you're asking that, you don't know how politics work. You can't just go to war and then keep going to war. You have people...
Pretenses of peace left by the wayside. The Arcadian forces resumed their advance toward Rabanasta. Dalmasca's doom had been decided. To make resistance would serve no end. With this foremost in my thoughts, I, to the people of Dalmasca. Sons and daughters of Dalmasca, I bid you lay down your arms. Raise songs of prayer in their stead. Prayer for His Majesty King Raminas, ever merciful, a man devoted wholly to peace. Prayer, too, for the noble Princess Ash, who, wrought with grief at her kingdom's defeat, has taken her own life. Know also that Captain Bosch von Ronsenberg, for incitement of sedition and the assassination of His Royal Majesty King Raminas, has been found guilty of high treason and put to his death. They who at this late hour choose still the sword are cut of the same cloth as the captain. Traitors who would lead Dalmasca to her ruin. Dalmasca's surrender without terms was soon to follow.
The term I was thinking about earlier is actually called casus belli. It's a Latin term, and it's been applied a lot in real-life history. That's basically what Vayne needed. He needed a casus belli in order to continue the war so he could claim Dalmasca with absolution, rather than just kind of taking it and, you know, not having exactly what they needed, because after all, they were interested in more than a few things, but some people have asked, why didn't they claim the stone early rather than later? The answer to that is, again, quite simple. This entire time, Cid was still perfecting his process with the stone they already had. And, well, we'll get to that later. It's also worth noting that Arcadia was not a total dictatorship, or even really an imperial system under all circumstances. Arcadia was run by the Senate at this point in time. Or rather, at that point in time. Now, at this point in time, the power has kind of shifted more towards the judge magisters and the military.
Vaughn! Hurry it up or they'll find us!
I know. Just a little more. You keep an eye out for me up there, Kites. 1, 2, 3 more. Right. Time to clean house.
Oh yeah, Casus Belli was in Crusader Kings, wasn't it? With good reason, though. It really was a thing that was... Let's just say it was pretty much the only reason... God, I don't even know how to put it properly. It's how war worked back in the day, let's just put it that way. There's his abs! Okay, I know you can't really see him. Be thankful.
Wow, Vaughn! You got him all yourself? Guess I know who to call when something big comes along.
Hey, it's good practice for the desert.
I thought I did, Kay.
That's enough for today. You should get back to Miguel's place, Kites. Aren't you running errands for him?
Oops, totally forgot.
By the way, unlike 10-2, you can skip every cutscene in this one. Not that I'm going
He's
to.
busy today. Might have some work for you to do, too.
I've got other, work to do. Hey, lock this place up for me, will you? If Miguel finds out we've been down here, he'll tan our hides.
Casual, they did, however, in a recent era, basically when Gramis took the throne, the House Solidor consolidated power a lot. In fact, the Judge Magisters and the judge system in general is a very recent development within Arcadia, and it was done specifically to make House Solidor be a dominant political power within the Arcadian Empire. In fact, actually, to even put the further point on it, Arcadia didn't even start expanding until House Solidor took over and started asserting control over the Empire.
What'd you say?
Sir, you haven't paid, and I...
What? Haven't paid?
On second thought, please, sir, take it. It's a gift.
Leave the poor sod be. We don't want trouble today.
Your luck, peddler.
Oops, sorry.
Watch where you're going, Churl. What? My pouch! It's gone! The boy! Get out the way! Oh!
I agree, by the way, Night Cobra. Though I liked FF9 for its feeling of a world, FF12 pulled off pretty well as well. The only thing I didn't like is most of the areas you go to in 12 are not actually cities, other than a few exceptions. So we don't get to see most of the Empire, or of the Kingdom, or the other Kingdom, or anything like that. We pretty much just see the capitals. But those capitals really feel well done.
Hey, that's mine.
What do you mean, yours? You've been stealing again. What happens if they catch you? We need you to be there for us, Vaughn. You're no good to anyone if you're locked away in a dungeon.
Oh, what? Am I the leader now? We're orphans. The first thing you learn is you gotta watch out for yourself. Come on, Penelo. You know it as well as I do. Hey, you give that back. What do you think you're doing?
I thought that this money was the people of Dalmasca's property. The Imperials stole it from us, so it's only fair that we take it back. It's our duty as Dalmascans. Well, wasn't that what you said?
Yeah, but I never said anything about taking it back from me.
God, his abs. What the hell?
This is for that bread you took the other day. Just because I help Miguelo out every now and then, it doesn't mean that you get to eat for free too, you know.
I know that. You think I like living like this?
Hang on, I gotta comment on something really quick. I actually dislike Vaughn more than I dislike Penelo, but that's because I actually kind of like Penelo's character. Even though she has less significance to the story, Vaughn at least has some significance to the story and some reason to be there. Penelo has basically none, but I actually like Penelo better as a character than Vaughn. Vaughn strikes me as someone who's basically just a kid. He's not whiny, or he's not that whiny, and he's not that bad, and he doesn't actually bother me that much, but he's there, and then Penelo's fine. She's polite, she's well-meaning. I don't know, I wanted to share that. One other thing I wanted to comment on, though, really quick here, is the fact that the Arcadian military is basically the only way for a lot of people who are poor and homeless to exist, to have food to eat, that kind of a thing. In fact, most of the Arcadian military is consistent of poor people who are trying to increase their society and their status in society, because Arcadian society is extremely not caste-based, but it's very classist. It's very class-based, and so joining the military is one of the only ways to actually get up over there. And, well, let's just say that it brings all sorts, and we'll see a few varieties of Imperial soldiers as we go through the game.
One of these days, I'll fly an airship of my own. I'll be a sky pirate. Free to go where I will.
By the way, don't confuse Sky Pirate with anything that actually has to do with the term
You'll
pirate.
Never fly anything if you're rotting in a dungeon.
I also have to give credit for...
Miguelo had some errands that need to...
I also have to give credit for the excellent animations they did, not just on the characters walking around, but the facial expressions were really, really well done, I think, and probably the best usage I've seen of them throughout the series, really.
He wanted you to drop by his place. It might be a good idea to lend a hand.
Still kind of tutorializing. Alright. One other thing I like about this is you can talk to every single one of these NPCs. Not all of them, but every single one of them that has a voice thing over their head. And there are quite a few. In fact, there's dozens, if not hundreds, per town. And again, it really contributes to making the cities actually feel like cities rather than, you know, villages or thorps. Speaking of which, I want to do something really quick here. And yeah, Sky Pirate is probably a little bit more like a smuggler or just someone who doesn't... Actually, a mercenary is probably the word I would use.
Ah, Vaughn, I was waiting.
Penelo said you needed something?
Had me some packages supposed to be arriving by courier. In the morning, perhaps he ran into some trouble out in the desert. Now I've no foodstuffs to prepare for the banquet tonight.
So you want me to find this courier? Hey, no problem.
No problem. The desert teems with trouble. I'd be sending you to early grave, my boy. No, I've arranged for some replacement goods from Tomaj over at the Sand Sea.
So you want me to go to the tavern to pick him up?
Actually, I asked Kites to do that. Wouldn't you know he's gone missing on me, too. I can't leave my shop and I've Pinello on another chore at the moment, you see. What I want you to do is run over to the Sand Sea and fetch Kites back. What do you say?
Sounds wild.
It's easy work, and you'll thank me for it someday.
How's the volume, by the way? This is what I was doing for FF10 and for FF10 too, so I'm not 100% sure it's good. Ah, god dang it, fine. I can wait then. Oh, actually, there's one other thing I want to point out here. Where is it? Is it this guy? No. Here we go. So these guys actually count the cobblestones around the area, and then they decide they're going to count cobblestones and flagstones and so forth. At one point in time, they actually make a reference specifically to Final Fantasy IV when they talk about a spoony bard would be the only a spoony bard would actually count that many stones, you know, that kind of thing. And again, there's some MMO feels to some of the early quests, but later on it'll become a lot more obvious how relevant the main quest will intervene. It basically doesn't until Balthier shows up, for all intents and purposes. I can't do anything about the voices. All I can do is raise the overall volume.
Stop loafing around.
Look, Vaughn, look! This is it! This is why Miguelo's courier didn't get here on time.
A creature spotted in the Ester Sand. What is that thing?
Ah, Vaughn! Miguelo sent you too, did he? He's a busy man these days, that Miguelo, if I dare say so myself. I don't envy him the work, though. Not a bit. Quite the affair throwing a banquet to welcome the Imperials, eh?
Welcoming? We should be... whatever. Say, Tomaj, what's this?
Nah, don't remind me. Got some nastiness out there in the Ester Sand. What's stopping our couriers? And that means shortages all around. Thought I'd put up a bill, offer a reward to anyone who can knock that nasty back in its place.
Now that's work. Sounds 10 times better than running errands for Miguelo.
That's right. Vaughn, you should give it a shot.
And you should be getting back to Miguelo. Now, Kites. He was waiting for you.
Oh, right.
So hang on, I gotta comment on this really quick here. See you around, Rogue Ranger. One of the things the game does that is actually kind of quote-unquote bad design, and it caught a lot of people, myself included, by surprise when we first played this game, is the fact that it literally introduces you to this whole hunt thing pretty early on, which is good and fun and awesome and difficult. See, here's the problem. The difficulty curve for the main game is kind of like this, with only really 2 spikes pretty far into the game. The difficulty curve for the hunts goes a little bit more like this. And I want you to compare these 2 curves right here, okay? You see the problem here? The problem is, early on it's like, hey, there's these hunts, and they're awesome, and they're fun. Go to the hunts, okay? Oh my god, I'm dying, why am I dying? Ugh. And there's nothing that actually indicates the fact that the hunts are so much more difficult than the rest of the main game, and that they scale up in difficulty so much faster. So I probably won't be doing most of the hunts because I don't have anything to encourage me to do so cheat-wise, and it usually would require some grinding to go and do so. I'll do the first few, or the first 2, I believe, actually. But not the full extent of it, unless you guys want me to go ahead and just cheat and be Doom, in which case I could totally go do the hunts. But anyways, moving along. The other thing I wanted to comment on really quick here is the fact that they really went out of their way to try and emphasize the fact that as you're going through this world, it's changing around you, and the fact that pretty much every time you load an instance, there's the characters are in a different place. It'll actually keep track of what they're doing regardless of you. This is a technology they actually introduced in 10.2, but it's a lot more obvious here. And they actually made it so that the things that they say and do, you know, their animations, they don't just walk around. They actually will stop, look at a stall, consider some of the goods, walk down the thing, and then they'll actually lean up against the wall and look over the wall. It's all little stuff, but it's all good stuff. And they'll say different things as the story progresses. So It's really wonderful as you're going through because, again, it gives that feeling of the fact that you're in a living world. And honestly, if I had to go ahead and say one true strength of Final Fantasy XII, it would be the fact that this is a living, breathing world, and it's awesome. You missed me dying to him earlier, Coco. Because I wasn't actually set up for the fight. Heh. Whatever. And by the way, let's make this clear, it is the Gilgamesh in this one. Here's the license board. I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about the license board. The license board is similar in many ways to the sphere grid, a lot more simplified in its execution, but nevertheless pretty much the same general feel and quantity to it. The only main difference is it actually changes what you can equip instead of just your stats and abilities. And believe it or not, I actually really like the license board, but it is worth noting that just like in FF10, one of the downsides of the license board is it basically makes your characters homogeneous. In other words, you can bring whoever you want, the only difference is the cosmetics of their attack animations and whatever, you know, what their limit breaks are. In fact, it's even more that than FF12, or excuse me, than FF10, because of the fact that any character can equip any weapon if you set them up properly. That being said, I don't dislike it, I just prefer a more hybrid system like 7 or 6, but it is a really good system in its own right. It's also worth noting that when I first played this game, I had half the board maxed before I even hit Arcadia. Yeah, I kind of really played the crap out of this game when it came out. Samurai, I don't remember where all of them are specifically, but they actually have a list of where each of the fake swords came from. You know, this one came from FF8, this one came from FF9, etc., etc. I know he has the Orichalcum from Zidane in FF9, and I know he has the Buster Sword from Cloud in 7. I don't remember the rest, though. I've heard good and bad things about the international version, you know, the one with the class boards. I'm not going to comment on it because I haven't played it yet myself, believe it or not. I haven't had time since then. But, okay. Ignore that graphics glitch, it's expected. Seriously. I don't remember, Bowman. There's actually a list of where he got each weapon from. You done tutorializing me yet? I've played this game like 6 times. Come on, dude. Although, actually, I guess that's not true. I've played the game all the way through 6 times. I've played the game up to the point in which the story stops. Cough, cough. More like 20 times. Huh. I don't know, Nikki. I'll have to cheat if I'm going to do that. Because that's quite a ways into the hunt system. Yes, that's correct, Cashel. There's actually a few Dragon Quest references in the game in general, which is actually pretty awesome, I think. Of course, by this point, you know, Dragon Quest was officially under the Square Enix flag. By the way, I also like how they have names, just like in FF9, Sodded Imperial, and there's a barkeep. Hang on, let me try and find another actual example of this. Ah, camera. Oh yeah, by the way, camera control, holy crap! Okay, I'm not finding any other examples here, but several people actually have specific, you know, adjectives to their names other than just, hey, I'm a person. Which I kind of like. So, you know what, who's on? Could somebody go ahead and do me a favor and set up a straw poll right now to ask if you guys want me to just go ahead and fully cheat and just be a Doom death machine? Because I can do that if you want. I only have one cheat on right now, and it's the loot cheat, which I will demonstrate when I'm not turning that cheat off. There's nothing you can do to convince me of that. But, yeah. Tall, you know what's funny is I actually figured you'd like this game more than most of the FF series. With a genuineness, not with the, you know, I'm joking around and messing with you is. I know, isn't it weird? Camera control in an FF game. Right, where is she? Is that it? That can't be right. Maybe she's not there yet. There's a woman around here who has a really amusing, thing with her. That works, Bowman. Thank you. Anyways, there's a woman around here with a really amusing graphics glitch where if you talk to her, her hair will just go wild as you're talking to her. Oh, I don't think she's there right now, so whatever.
You there, let's see some papers, boy.
Oh, actually, Samurai... No, I'll answer that in a moment.
Oh, gee, that's too bad. You see, it just so happens that your provisioner for the fete tonight, he sent me to pick up a few choice morsels for the,
Yes, I am White Squall. Well, at least at the moment.
He wants them quick. I got the writ of transit right here. You see? Signed. Magello. I just hate to see the consul upset because his food wasn't ready on time. And I sure hate to see him take it out on you.
The Lord Consul is a great man, and not one to take offense in such trifling matters.
Thank you, Brigman, but Bowman actually already dealt with it. You're still awesome, though. No, I don't, Takata. I think Ash is the main character, followed by Bosch, followed by both of you.
To keep the consul waiting?
I'm kidding. All three are basically the main character.
Gates are closed after this.
Yeah, so at the moment, $340 says I'm playing FF13. By the way, again, I refuse to turn the loot cheat off. Don't ask, it's not happening. You know the new rule. This is a Lorerunner, we're doing at least some cheats. The only thing that the Doom cheat will change, basically, is whether or not I do the hunts. That's really all it's going to change when it comes down to it. Anyways, Samurai, to answer your question, he did actually interact with the heroes of those other worlds, and that's why he made the fakes of them, is because of the fact that, you know... Well, that's just Gilgamesh's thinking in a nutshell, isn't it? Oh, well, Cloud was such a great soldier. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to have this giant, awesome sword, and, yeah. So what's the loot results, or loot results, wow, what's the poll results so far, Bowman? Not that it matters yet. You'll see the loot cheat in action in a moment here. The loot cheat is something I highly recommend if you have the availability of doing it. Yeah, sure, why not, Jerimoto? I'll let you pick which weapon type I use with each character. I usually do that anyways. I like have you use all the pole arms, you use all the swords, you use all the, what's the other one I like to use? Spears. Those are basically my three mains. So, this is what a cactar looks like in FF12. They're actually kind of cute, I think. They're called cactites, though. Hang on, did I actually... Oh, gotcha, Bowman. So, yeah, it's set to fast. Okay, that's what I thought. No, come back! So, this is what the loot cheat is. He drops literally his entire loot table. And I do mean his entire loot table. Even the even the 1 in 256 drop stuff. So everything drops the 1 in 256 stuff. I am so not going to fight the dinosaur. For those of you not aware, it's actually very easy, relatively speaking, to go ahead and kill the T-Rex, even when you're doing this legitimately without any kind of cheats. It's just one of those situations where if you screw up, you die instantly. And it takes a while. It takes like 30 minutes to do it. But if you succeed, well, let's just say you level up extremely quickly. So let's talk about something else I love about this game. Yeah, that's great. I really do. This is awesome. The bestiary, okay? And you're like, Arsh, why do you like a bestiary? Well, you notice how it says 14 by wolves? Well, as soon as I kill one thing even once, it'll tell me about the wolf. Okay, here's the wolf. That's great. But if I kill 14, it'll give me a tidbit of lore. Just lore. Sometimes it's about the setting, sometimes it's about certain items you can get, sometimes it's about, you know, some of the technology in the world. You know, it's all interesting, fun stuff. And so it gives you kind of a reason to actually go out and fill out the bestiary, because in result you get lore, you get story from it. And I just love that. It's one of the things I usually love doing, is going out of my way to fill up the bestiary. That being said, if you're not actually, if you don't know exactly what you're doing, filling out the bestiary takes longer than you'd think, and it's actually harder to do than you'd think, because it's actually possible to get to a point where you can't, because certain things you basically cannot get enough of, reasonably speaking, in order to fill it out. So, yeah. Looks like I'm going to be cheating. Okay. I'm down with that. Oh, by the way, well, okay. I don't know if you can even tell, but these little dots, they're just little red dots on the thing, but there's a large red dot over there. That's because that's my hunt mark. Whoops, too fast. I'll fight... Oh, you know what? I will totally fight the T-Rex. Yeah, filling out the rare game is just insane. But seriously, I really like what they did with the bestiary in this game. I've only seen like 2 other RPGs ever do that kind of a thing. Seriously, I can only think of 2 off the top of my head. I'm not even sure if there's more than that. By the way, fun fact, just like in an FF10-2, as they're going through the combo attacks, those can still be interrupted or stalled, and they can still not resolve. In other words, if an enemy is comboing you, and is going to combo you for, like, you know... Damn it, Bowman. Is going to combo you for however much, if you manage to kill them, or stop them, or slow them, or otherwise deal with them, before they finish the whole combo won't go off. And that goes true for you, too, though. So this is a mark. All the marks are stronger than normal mobs, except for this one. This one's pretty pathetic. But from this point on, the marks get a lot stronger. Like I said, they are the optional content. They also lead to the super optional. You cannot do any of the super optionals without doing the marks. Nor can you see Gilgamesh without doing the marks. By the way, that's a plant. I'm dead serious. I know the tomato kind of gives it away, but that is actually a form of plant. A form of Mandragora, I believe. Okay, everyone deadlock the vote, guys. You know the rules. Being a little risky here. Hey, I think I did it.
Galbana lilies?
By the way, even if I'm cheating, I'm not going to do the 100%ing thing, because there's still a degree of time investment that's significant in doing that. So I'm not going to be getting the Worm Hero Dragon Quest Blade. Don't ask. I already did it once, I'm never doing it again.
This'll make a nice souvenir. Time to call it a day.
So, you want me to die to the T-Rex, but not actually fight the T-Rex? Well, hang on, let me go save. And I will die to the T-Rex just for you. Shoot, okay. Okay. By the way, we're already up to 20. I don't think we've even leveled yet. Yep, we're still level 1. So, hang on, let me go save. I'll probably do some of them, King. I'm not doing Yzmat again. He is such an irritating fight, and even at level 99, if you don't have the proper equipment set up, which takes its own time investment, it's just a pain. So, no. So let's go ahead and get that save in. I think it's actually my first save so far. I am going to get the Zodiac Sphere, yes. Spear, excuse me, Zodiac Spear. Yes, this is my... by the way, this is my 100% save game. This is my right before, Omega save game, and this is my in the middle of Yzmat save game. I don't touch any of those three, I haven't ever since I made them. So I always use the 4th slot for my replays. By the way, speaking of which, I am also not fighting Omega 12. Screw that guy. Yzmat can be annoying and boring and difficult in its own right. Omega 12 made me want to tear my hair out. I actually had hair back then. I've only killed Yzmat and Omega 12 once each. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Alright, so let's go fight the T-Rex and then die to him. But yeah, I will be getting the Zodiac Spear. I will also be telling you my patent-pended method for getting the Zodiac Spear. You're gonna laugh at me, though. Even though I could recite most of the chests off the top of my head, I have another method for doing it. Nope, Bowman, you said to die to the T-Rex. And die I shall. By the way, I'd also like to go out of the way to really praise FF12 for feeling nice and open. This is probably one of the least corridor-feeling games there is. Even though it's still kind of linear when it comes down to its progression and its story, you have so many expansive areas to just walk through and explore and find random treasure and just kill things that are out in the open. I really like it. I'd also like to point out that that over there is the Nalbina Fortress, which is just another little tiny little thing that most people I know who play this game actually miss. There's a lot of things you can see in the background of this game that are pretty cool. Run! Run! Okay, fine, I'll kill you. If you insist. 100% playthrough, by my definitions, is getting everything and doing everything. No, seriously. Getting everything and doing everything. Alright. Yeah! And I'm dead. Now, that's probably the only death I'm gonna have the entire game. So, this is what the game over screen looks like. Well, you wanted me to cheat Doom style, so we'll go ahead and demonstrate how I cheat, because we're gonna do it live. Holy moly. Since I just gotta save and everything. I'll be right back. Like I said, I only have 3 cheats for this game total. We're just going to be turning on all of them. And don't let the thing you're about to see persuade you otherwise. Only 3 of the cheats actually work. The others were testing. Speaking of which, that makes 21 kills now. So yeah, you can't actually buy these anymore that I'm aware of. Not this specific one, you can get something else. But the original site that actually hosted all these codes also doesn't exist, and in fact finding new codes for this thing is a pain in the ass. So it's one of the reasons I keep a hold of these saves, that is to say my save card that has these cheats on them, because otherwise I'd be kind of screwed. I'm sorry, Kay. I don't mean to be quite so boring. No, I didn't, King, although you did actually see that in action because he actually cannibalized a wolf as I was on approach to him. Okay, these are the codes that work. Items, that's the all loot one, exp, and LP. That's it. The rest of these do not work. Oh, I know, Final Cloud. I don't know, Takata. I'm not sure anybody would want that. And I'm not sure my sanity could take that. I've 100%ed several of these games, more than once. And, I'm not sure I ever want to 100% several of them again, you know? Hell, I even got the Excalibur 2 in FF9. Although that's not really 100%ing. You kind of have to 100% FF9 across 2 playthroughs. Ugh. Yeah, LP is for license points. The irony is I can't spend license points with that code on. Seriously. It will actually crash the game. No, I'm just using a normal PS2 controller. Well, go to bed, Kay. Get some rest, man. I don't know what you're talking about, Takada. I only know about 2 Mass Effect games. That being said, I'll totally play those 2 Mass Effect games on stream probably sometime. I don't know if I could call that a marathon, because it's just 2 games. See you around, Vyson. Wow, God, it's already 11. So... right, I need to go. Hang on, I need to go kill something. You got it, Tal. I will play Papers, Please, just for you. You can make all kinds of fun of it. It'll be great. I think this cacti needs to die. I should actually be going to sleep pretty soon, yeah, admittedly. Hey, I'm level 47 now. Sweet. And I have 1,000 license points. Yeah, I'll let you think about the effects of that. Now, I'll admit, I actually really did not like playing this game, as weird as that sounds, until the Gambits showed up. Pretty much up until I get to the Gambits, I view this as just one long tutorial. When you finally get the Gambits, it's like, yes, finally. Then I started enjoying playing the game again. Alright, where is he? Actually, I'm not even sure I could kill him still. Let's kill a couple more wolves. Because I still have a crap weapon, and weapon actually has a huge amount to do with the damage you do. Notice I'm only doing 300 damage at, like, level 70. Alright, so we can do this. Oh, hang on, let's go after the wolf first. There we go. Yeah, by the way, you can queue up items like that. You know, I actually don't think I've ever used the exp code outside of, once. When I was using the Doom leveling spot, which is the one in that damn mines with all the bats that fly down. I can remember, like, the room, because I spent hours there, getting up to, like, level 60, and then I got sick of it and finally tried out an exp code. See if I could just speed that up. And it worked, and then I was like, well, that's nice. Moving on. Alright, ready to run! Yep, running. And that's why. Level 70 and the T-Rex still one-shots me. See, the problem is gear plays too much of a role in what you can do, and that's why the level code is only sort of nice. Honestly, the level code isn't going to make me as doomy as you're probably expecting. It's just going to basically give me more health, more than anything else. Yeah, by the way, I've seen a lot of, you know, no materia, no magicite, no sphere grid runs, level 1 runs. Okay, yeah, sure. No gambits or licenses. Well, okay, not even no licenses, because that's just kind of the same thing as the other thing, but no gambits? I would never play this game without gambits, honestly. We're just gonna get a couple levels for safety's sake here really quick. Health does help. No, I'm definitely still doing the hunts, Bandit. Don't worry. Don't worry. Because the levels do help your damage a little. For example, right now I hit for 33, but at level 70 I hit for 300. So, there. 1 level boost, 2000 HP, and I hit for about 5 times as much. What did you link me, Bowman? Oh my god. Wait, that's not me. My god. We'll go ahead and get a free heal in, why not? We also won't be spending license points for a while. Erstwhile adventurer. Love it. Hey, kites.
Stand back there. Back! This gate's closed.
They do really well with the background audio in this game, too. It feels like an area rather than a scene in a play.
Open the gate! Alright, out the way.
Wait a second. How come you let these chocobos through the gate and not us?
What of it? This here's a pedigreed parader, boy. Cost tens of thousands of gil, this one did. A prettier price than 100 of you provincials would fetch.
Provincials.
Keep your distance. We don't want the chocobos sticking a peasant.
What'd you say?
Step aside. Right then, move them in.
Oh.
I hope so, Takeda. I am saving these locally. And I'm saving them on Twitch, too.
Oh, a fine chocobo you have there. Yes, cedar down stock, if I'm not mistaken. Change the soil, change the chocobo, am I right? Yes, different soil means different bouquet, too. Take a Dalmascan Barrow's wine, It may lack the flavor and depth of some of your Arcadian wines, but it has a certain strength of character. It's not bad, really, once you get used to it. Care for some, sirs? There's more than enough for all to cool their throats, of course.
You let these carts through and closest gate is ordered.
Yeah, I love this game too. I've been looking forward to playing this for like 2 months now. I almost started playing it about 2 months ago. And then I was like, nope. Gotta save it for the marathon.
Right. Now's our chance to go through.
The ceremony will be starting soon. I'd best be hurrying.
Okay, well... Vaughn, wait! What is it? Vaughn!
Wow, I will be stopping soon. It's already 11. I gotta go to bed soon. Ow. Oops. No, don't skip, don't skip. So there's Vane. I'd call him the villain of the game, but we all know who the real villains of this game are. They're Vaughn and Pinello. I like how he doesn't notice the kid keeping pace with him on his frickin' airship cart thing. Yeah, this speech really impressed me, King Falls Down. It still does every time I hear it. Why attack it? Everyone has already... I mean, I don't know what else to add other than what I've already done. Oh, this speech.
We will have order.
Oh, God, this speech.
I give you your new consul, His Imperial Highness Lord Vane Solidor, Commandant of the Arcadian Empire's Western Arm... Your Excellency.
Everything he does here is very calculated. Pay attention, you might learn something.
People of Rabanastre, is it with hatred you look upon your consul? With hatred you look upon the Empire.
Spit on your empire! Straight back to Arcadia!
There was little point in asking. But know this. I harbor no idle hopes of frustrating that hatred. Nor shall I ask your fealty. That is the due of your fallen king, and rightly so. King Ramanas loved his people, strove to bring you peace. His was a rule worthy of your devotion. Even now, he remains among you, protecting you. His ardor for the peace and weal of Dalmasca falters not. I would ask only that you do your king honor. Together let us embrace the peace His Majesty would surely desire. 2 years now divide us from war's bitter end, yet still its shadow looms over all, stifling the infant peace a pall only you may cast off. Achieve but this one thing, and your hatred of me and of the Empire will grieve me not. I will stand fast. I will endure your hatred, suffer your slings and arrows. I will defend Dalmasca. Here I will pay my debt. I swear it now. Though King Ramanas and Lady Ash be gone, they stand ever at the side of their people. In honoring peace, you do honor to their memory and to Dalmasca. What I ask plain. My hopes now rest with you.
God damn. And that is how you manipulate people. You use exactly what they care about in exactly the way they want you to use it, and in exactly the way that they want things to go, because you can do it in just a slightly different way that covers your ends. A truly manipulative person knows that both people can win, both you and the person you're manipulating, and that's how you really get your way. Vayne is a frickin' genius, and the way he uses his words, and the way he casts the shadow of doubt on anybody who actually just, goes against him.
It is magnificent.
Oh my god.
Take this cathedral, for instance. Elegant, yet whimsical in its execution. A stunning example of Galtean architecture. I hope Lord Gramus might one day look upon it himself.
The patron of this evening's banquet may
No,
please Your
Bowman.
Excellency.
Most politicians have no idea what they're doing. Most politicians wish they were as good as that.
It is truly a profound honor to make the acquaintance of our future Emperor, Highness. The people of Rabanasta join me in welcoming you.
That's enough of Highness. Though indeed I am our Emperor's son, I am no prince. Arcadia's Emperor is freely chosen by her people. I am but an elected official and nothing more.
I meant no disrespect.
Now that I think on it, I would not have you address me as Lord Consul, for that matter.
God.
Oh. Henceforth, I am a citizen of Rabanasta. Why don't you call me Vayne?
I could not. That would not be right.
You are overly fond of formalities. I've just the remedy for that. Tonight you will join me, and we shall drink until you call me by name.
God damn.
How can he stand about at him like that?
Hang on, I just have to point this out in case you missed the subtlety of it. I don't mean the normal subtlety, I mean the hidden subtlety. The fact that Vayne there changed the way he talked, changed his tactics, the very method by which he was using to steer the conversation and control it, based on his reading of the individual within a matter of seconds, and he guessed correctly instantly.
Fawn, you just do not get it, do you? He's not doing it because he wants to.
Lord Vayne never did have
You
a
know
sense of
what would
humor.
happen if he didn't.
I know, it's just...
So, what would you do different?
I kill them all! Because I am Bosch Val Russen, blah, 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 blah.
I'd do something.
Of course, the irony is Vayne, for all his intellect and genius, is a cold fish, but I'm not sure I would call him fully evil. In fact, it's worth noting that Vayne's ends and the ends of the party are actually pretty much the same thing. We're just going about different means to accomplish them.
Fawn.
Vayne himself is actually quite sympathetic when you get down to
You haven't heard a
it.
single word I've said, have you?
Well, not sympathetic, that's the wrong word. He himself is very unsympathetic. but his
place has
goal
changed so much.
is
It's like
sympathetic.
it's not even Rabanastre anymore. Like the Empire is swallowing it whole.
Hey, Penel, that fete tonight. You think they'll let us in?
Are you crazy? It's in the palace, and we don't have an invitation if you hadn't noticed.
So, how are we getting in?
As if I'd know. Why not ask Magello to get you in? Or go see old Dallin in Lowtown? Why the sudden interest, Vaughn?
I told you, I'm going to take back what's ours. Give back to Dalmasca. Come on, what do you think? If I find something, and it fetches a good price, how about I buy you all dinner?
Oh, please. You know as well as I do the first thing you'd buy is an airship. All hail Vaughn, sky part of Dalmasca.
I wasn't gonna
Got
say
a
that
nice
yet,
ring to
Kings.
it. Stay out of trouble.
An airship. I don't know. Maybe. But not
Don't.
through Magello. Time to pay old Dallin a visit.
Yeah, Sid doesn't show up for a bit. He has like a cameo soon. Hey, by the way, look! It's these three! I bet when you first saw that you wondered why the camera swung over those guys for absolutely no reason. Anyways, a couple things I want to comment on really quick here. First of all, Bragwin asks why use the city to garner support. Two reasons. One, it's just what he does. He so automatically uses his oratory and his intellectual and analytical skill that I doubt it ever occurs to him to not try to manipulate the situation and those around him. Second reason, to solidify his position here to ensure that he would be in absolute, the best possible situation to assure his ends, because that's what he always cares about, is his ends. Second thing I want to comment on. Yeah, I'm going to go to sleep as soon as I find a save point here. It's pretty late for me, and I didn't really sleep that well last night either. Second thing I want to comment on, I mentioned earlier they like to do the whole, the Old English thing in this, but what I didn't mention is one of the ways they did it properly, and that's the fact that not everyone speaks with the same dialect. Not everyone has the same word choice, and not everyone has the same sentence structure. Instead, there's actually like 4 variances we see between, you know, common, professional, courteous, and high society, and we see different people speak in these different dialects, these different tonalities. I'm not talking about their voice, but literally their words. If you had them written, it becomes more obvious, and they are so subtle that unless you're actually paying attention, you probably wouldn't even notice. And I like that. It really shows the amount of effort they put into the translation of this game, which is to say a lot. Where am I going? No, I'm going the right way. I'm going the right way. I don't know if I'd call Vayne one of my favorite FF villains, but he is one of my favorite villains, regardless of FF. I'm just messing with you. He is a really awesome villain. Especially since, in many ways, he's one of those characters where it's debatable as to whether or not he is, in fact, a villain. I mean, obviously he's a bad guy, but it's really complicated with him, you know? Yeah, exactly, King Falls Down, exactly. It's subtle touches, it's little hints, tidbits, not, you know, vast variances to try and emphasize the extremities to dissuade you from actually thinking about a situation. Really, really, really well done translation of this game. I love it. But yeah, like I said, I'll go ahead and let you guys decide what weapons everyone uses, just for flavor's sake and for fun's sake. And of course, by the way, like I said, every time something happens, we go around and everyone's talking again. And everyone's like, oh my god, it's so amazing. And everyone's of course talking about Vayne and his big speech. And what's funny is about, I don't know, say 60% of the people you talk to are fully and completely convinced by his speech, which makes sense. About, I don't know, say 30% are not convinced, but definitely think he is better, even if the Empire is not. And only a scant 10% are like, screw everyone. Do I have any gil right now? I guess I do. By the way, I love the Moogles in this game. Just saying. I'm not letting you choose now. I need to finish out the license board first. Which is going to take a bit because I only have 1,000 license point right now. I need more than that. Okay, where is the nearest save crystal? There's one there and there's one there. Let's go for this one. Actually, it's not going to... Yeah, okay, let's go for this one then. Moogle! For anybody who doesn't know, this is what Moogles look like in this game. What do I normally do? I normally have one character who has... Oh, I already told you this. I already have one... I have one staff, or bow, or whatever it's called. One two-handed sword, and one spear character. All of those are two-handers, I believe. Which is probably indicative of my playstyle. I almost never use ranged weapons. Not in any kind of serious playthrough at all. Oh, right. We gotta go turn in the hunt, don't we? We'll do that real quick. But I also usually go out of my way to set up even the characters I don't actively use with stuff. So they usually use stuff like, you know, I've got one person set up with a one-hander and a shield. I get one other person set up with oh, what's the other thing I use? Katana, I want to say? And then I have one person set up with a... God, I don't even remember. Something else. So the rewards for completing the hunts are actually kind of subpar, in all honesty. It's kind of funny, but I still do them because they're fun. What can I say? We'll go and do one more thing before I cut the stream for the night. Jumping would be nice, but then it'd be MMO, and nobody wants an MMO. By the way, another thing I like about this setting is their uses of magicite. You see those little crystals up there? Those actually are magicite. I'll talk about magicite in a little bit more detail later, but suffice it to say, magicite is effectively a specific type of magical stone that can store mist and then therefore have a controlled outlet of that mist later on for purposes of heating or freezing or repairing or generating light or, you know, pretty much anything. It's pretty much what the technology of the entire setting is based off of, is magicite and mist. That's pretty much exactly it, Bragwin. In other words, what certain intelligent villains should do, and most don't. Not that kind of magicite. Actually, the magicite in my Primus setting is partially based off of the magicite in FF12. It's got its own little thing powering it that isn't mist, obviously. So here's Mont Blanc. I like this, by the way. Our clan has a very strict entrance examination. We should begin yours at once. And you pass. Moogles are quick to make up their minds, Kupo. We're now in Clan Centurio. So, fun fact, virtually every single one of the named Moogles that we encounter in the game are actually family members, one with another. By the way, each time you get a new rank and do a quote-unquote special task, you can talk to him and you get a bonus for it. Special tasks can vary significantly. Sometimes it's just doing some of the normal combat stuff throughout the game. Sometimes it's exploring an area. Sometimes it's encountering a certain thing. And there's always just a tiny little bit of lore attached to it. Like, for example, for taking out the, you know, the creature that was blocking this ruin, the Cartographers Guild of, you know, the nation right next to that ruin would like to give you this for enabling them to finally explore the ruin. Like I said, tiny little tidbits, but it really adds to the flavor of it, and I like it. Also gives you kind of a reason to do things other than just exploration and for fun. Where am I going? I'm going this way. Okay, so now we're going to find a save crystal, and then we're going to stop. But first we're going to talk to this girl. Hey, what's up? By the way, we can't even use gambits yet, which is why I'm not bothering to grab any. And now we go to the Low Town. This is a funny area, all things considered. No. Here's Low Town. Well, here's part of Low Town. And it's pretty much exactly what it looks like. It's not fully, like, completely an underground city kind of thing, but it mostly is, and it's actually really well done. It's basically just an underground series of alleyways, I guess is probably the best way to explain it. Whoops, this way. And they're interconnected, and there's a sewage system down here, and blah blah blah. And of course, this is where the poor people live, because the poor people have to live somewhere. But despite that, this place has a surprisingly well-designed flavor to it, and I actually like the Low Town a lot. I like all these dinky little shops you go by. This guy's selling artwork, for example. This person here, well, this one's demented. But anyways, if you can pay attention, she's actually selling dishware. This person is selling fruit. And hang on, I'll try to find another one here. But my point is, every single one of these stalls is just its own little thing, and I like that. I love the little flavor. Here we go. Here's someone who's selling books. And this is actually a thing in Japanese culture, because they're really used to squeezing a lot into a little space over there, a lot more than we are in the States. And so, this is kind of a thing you would actually see there, and one of the reasons one of the things they used as a degree of inspiration for the Low Town. What can I say, King? See you around, Final Cloud. Like I said, I'm going to stop streaming pretty soon here. By the way, the guileless girl. But yeah, I'm going the right way. I've played this game enough, and I have a really, really good geographic, navigational, whatever you want to call it, memory. So, I generally know exactly where I'm going in most of these places. In FF12 specifically, a lot more than just about any of the other FFs I play, with the exception of 4 and 6, both of which I know by heart. And there's my save crystal. Tomorrow I will show you the dreaded trick that Arshingai uses to ensure that he does not lose out on the wonderful and incredible Zodiac Spear. Bowman, out of curiosity, what's that site you found that has codes? Because I might want to try a few just to see if I can do some things. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pull out of here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I can't wait to actually really get into the meat of this game tomorrow. I really can't. I'm really excited. I love this game so much. I've never done a full cheat playthrough, so I'm actually really kind of excited to just blow through everything and get some revenge on a few particular hunts that pissed me off every time I play this. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow.